Hello everyone, welcome to this lesson on conditional formatting basics. If you are watching this, you are already in Excel school and learning how to use conditional formatting. In today's lesson, we will try to find out what is conditional formatting and how to use it. Okay, let's get started. Today, we will learn by doing stuff. We will not learn the theory. Of course, we will learn some theory, but then the objective is to learn by doing stuff. So we take some data that has no formatting whatsoever, and then we try to apply conditional formatting in three different ways. One where we try to highlight all the values between 15 and 25 in the table in a different color, and one where we try to highlight values in the right column such that the value in the right column is more than the value in the left column. So for example, in this row 19 was less than 36, so we wanted to highlight that. And then in the last example, we'll try to highlight every other row in the table in a different color so that it is easier to read the table. Of course, there are multiple ways in which you can meet these objectives without ever using conditional formatting, but we are here to learn conditional formatting, aren't we? So let's get started. Before even jumping to conditional formatting, I wanted to spend a few minutes and then explain what conditional formatting is all about. Conditional formatting is your way of telling Excel that this is my data and highlight it in a different format when certain conditions are met. This is very useful feature. I mean, think about it for a minute. You have a lengthy list of values in a table in Excel. How do you find out that particular value that interests you? For example, you have sales data of 500 of your customers in a table, and you wanted to find out who are the top 10 customers that I have without having to manually sort the data or trying to look for the numbers yourself. I mean, we could sort the table, but then that will probably lose some other context, some other ordering that is already inbuilt. What if we could just highlight the top 10 values in red color so that it immediately catches our attention? Similarly, you can use conditional formatting to highlight errors in your data, or to highlight mismatches when you are reconciling some values, or to highlight top 10 percentile or bottom 10 percentile, or even build some kind of in-cell charts like traffic lights or up arrows or down arrows. There are several possibilities, and Excel 2007 and above has in Excel 2007 and above, the conditional formatting has been revamped to such a large extent that you can actually create a multiple number of rules. In the earlier versions of Excel, you could only create up to 3 conditional formatting rules, and with some kind of arm twisting, you could get all the way up to 4. But that's about it. And it was kind of annoying limitation too. But that thankfully is no longer there in Excel 2007 and above. You can create as many rules as you want, and then the rules themselves are pretty interesting. You can highlight the values in gradients, and you can make in-cell charts. You can create some kind of icons. For example, in order to find out what possibilities are, just select any set of cells in your Excel, and you go to conditional formatting, and then see, it says highlight cells that are greater than or less than between so and so. It will also highlight top 10, bottom 10 percentage values, above average, below average, without ever having to write any single formula. You could just do these things with just a click, and there is this data bars features, and just select a value to see how it would act. See, it shows a small chart internally. There are some semantic errors, or not rather semantic, but uh, these charts do not follow the exact visualization principles that we at chandu.org espouse. But then Microsoft has corrected most of these mistakes in the later version of Excel, that is Excel 2010, where the gradient effect is more or less gone. And for example, one of the problems, anyway, this lesson is not intended to talk about this, but just so that we are talking. For example, if I select this, and you can see how the bar for 12 is smaller than very small, as if it is 0, and that's one of the mistakes, as the axis minimum was set to 12 instead of set with 0. It's not a correct visualization practice, but anyway. And then you can set color scales so that you can highlight the values. It's an instant way to generate a heat map. And of course you can apply multiple different types of icons, which are all pretty good, and they quickly give you an analysis of data. But then let's get started and try to create some simple rules and see how it goes. So in order to highlight the values between 15 to 25, select the table and then go to conditional formatting and then select this new rule, or you can even go to the shortcut that says between and type the values that you want to highlight. So here let us say 15 and 25, and Excel already has some predefined formats like light red fill with dark red text, or yellow fill with dark text, or green fill with, just select something, or you can define your own format. Then you can say, highlight it with this color or whatever, then press OK. That's it. It's as simple as just making few clicks to highlight the values between 15 and 25. Now that we understand how a simple formatting rule can be defined, let's take one step ahead and try to define somewhat more complicated rules that actually depend on formulas. For that, first let us clear the conditional formatting from this section. To clear conditional formatting from any selection, just select the cells and then go to conditional formatting and then select this option, clear rules from selected cells. That's it, the conditional formatting is gone. Remember, none of the other formatting is gone, just the conditional formatting is. Okay, now that you wanted to highlight all the values in this column that are more than that column, if you were to write a formula and test for such a condition, we would simply use the greater than operator like this, C3 greater than P3, and copy the formula all over. So it is true for this, false for this, and false for this, and true for the other two. We just have to use the same formula when we are applying conditional formatting. Since we only wanted to highlight values in this column and not on this, just select the values in this column and then go to conditional formatting, select new rule. The new formatting rule dialog box has multiple options for you to select. For example, you could select values that are and format them based on the value in the cell alone, or based on what value are there in the cell, and apply some kind of operators. We need to select this one that says use a formula to determine which cells to format, and the formula is C3 greater than B3. So this is a simple logical test. It will be true or false, and if it is true, the format will be applied. And then click on this little button format and then apply the formatting. You can also apply other types of formatting. For example, you could change the formatting of the cell itself from general to currency or accounting or date or time. Probably not appropriate in our context. Or you can even apply some kind of font styles, like you can say it's instead of being regular, it could be bold or it could be italic. Let's make it bold. You can't increase the font size. Then press OK. See how the values that are more than this are highlighted and then they're in bold, so they catch attention immediately. This kind of formatting can be very useful when you are trying to show the sales of this year with respect to last year or something like that. You could immediately highlight the values in the sales rows that are more in this year compared to the last year, so that you can recognize such people and then take some appropriate action. It is also useful in various contexts where you are comparing one set of values with other set of values. Now that you understand how to use conditional formatting with formulas, let's go ahead and apply the last one, where we try to highlight every second row in a different color. For that, let's first remove the conditional formatting from this table. How do we remove the conditional formatting from any given set of cells? Just select the cells, go to conditional formatting, and then clear rows. And then select the table again, the cells again, and then go to conditional formatting and then create a new rule. But before we go there, let us try to understand how we can even identify which is an alternative row. Excel has a handy formula called ROW row. The row formula returns the row number of a reference cell. So if you call row formula from any given cell without having passing any parameters, it will just tell you the row number of that cell. So in this case it is third row. Just drag it down to see that this is fourth row, this is fifth row, this is sixth row, this is seventh row. So now to find out if this is an alternative row, we can do a simple test that goes something like this. Get the row number and see if it is odd or even. If it is even, it is an alternative row because here the first alternative row occurs in the even. Let's just go ahead and delete this and try to apply conditional formatting with the formula. Select the list of values, go to conditional formatting, click the new rule. Here select this option, use a formula to determine which cells to format. And then let us write a simple formula that will actually test whether the row is even or odd. To test that, we need to divide the row number of the particular cell by 2 and see what is the remainder. If the remainder is 0, then the row number is divisible by 2 and hence it's an even row. If the remainder is 1, the row number is not divisible by 2, hence it's an odd row. It's a pretty simple math that we have all learned in school. To get the row number, we need to use the row number formula. And to test whether the row number is divisible by 2 or not, use the mod formula. And let us apply some formatting like this. Okay, let's take a minute and try to understand what this formula is trying to do. The formula says get me the row number, because we need to pass the cell reference as well so that there is no confusion. The first cell of the conditional formatting is in B3 here, B3. So we just use that and Excel automatically applies the rule for the other cells as per their reference. So this formula says get me the row number for cell B3 and then divide it by 2 and give me the remainder. So the mod is going to give Excel the remainder and see if the remainder is 0. This is a long and roundabout way to see if the row number is even or not. And then if it is even, just highlight the cell with this format. Press OK. See how simple this is. Now this particular row and this particular row are highlighted. Highlighting alternative rows is a very good practice when you have a lengthy list of values. It is an easy way to make user read the table without confusing one value with another, and it is one of the best practices that people recommend when it comes to designing tables of data. Highlight the alternative rows or put some kind of leader lines or borders so that people can easily read a particular line without losing track of which line they are on. One of the troubles of this particular highlighting technique is, for some reason, if you had to insert a row above this table, then the row numbers will become, all the odd rows will now become even rows and all the even rows will become odd rows because the row numbers have increased. Don't get what I mean? Just see it. Let us insert a row here. See how the formatting immediately changed, because now this cell's row number is 4 instead of being 3 and hence it is even. That particular row is getting highlighted. Delete. There are other ways to highlight this particular type of alternative rows without actually using conditional formatting. We will learn more about such techniques when we talk about Excel tables or Excel lists. That's another lesson, another day. This concludes our session on conditional formatting basics. Go ahead and download the Excel file that is available with this lesson and then practice the conditional formatting on your own. The basics that are taught here are meant to open the doors for you so that you can go ahead and experiment conditional formatting features that are available in Excel and then find the right uses for them in your day-to-day work. I will catch up with you in the next lesson where we'll talk more about advanced conditional formatting and some more techniques and tricks of the trade by teaching you how to highlight errors and how to highlight missing values and unique values and how to use some inbuilt features of conditional formatting in 2007. Thank you very much.